Welcome to today's guided reading lesson. Today we're going to be going through a new book called Dinosaur Safari, and then tomorrow we will look at questions and activities around that book so that we can apply what we've learned from the book today. So today we'll read through it and tomorrow we'll do the activities. So let's take a look at our book for this week, and it's called Dinosaur Safari. It is a non-fiction text all about dinosaurs. As we would expect, on the inside cover is the contents page, and that tells us which pages have which parts of information on. And on the left-hand side, we've got some challenge words, and these are words that we're going to be seeing in this text, so it's really good to be familiar with these before we begin. Dinosaur, prehistoric, binoculars, creature, fierce, height, dangerous, and surface. So those are words we will expect to see in the text, and they may well be in bold, which means they're important and they're ones that we need to look carefully at. When I read through the book, please feel free to pause it as I read through. You may want to read the page before me, you might want to join in with me, you might want to read it afterwards, but as this is recorded, you can pause and play as you wish. Okay, let's look at the first page. Exploring the past. Imagine going on a safari 100 million years ago. What did the earth look like then? What animals would you find? Which animals lived on the land? Get a closer look on pages 4 to 13. Which creatures swam in the sea? Dive to pages 14 to 17 to find out more. Did any animals fly through the air? Find out on pages 18 to 21. Grab some binoculars and let's go on safari. This is an ammonite fossil. We know which animals lived in the past by looking at fossils. These are animal bones and shells that have turned to stone. Really stunning. If we just zoom in there and take a look, that is such an impressive, beautiful natural pattern there on that stone. Okay, let's go to the next page. On the land, and I can see there's a word in bold already. There's a lot happening on this page. We've got speech bubbles, we've got labels here, we've got sentences about what we can see here, and we've got this word in bold, and that word is dinosaurs. On the land, your safari is about to begin. First, let's take a look at the earth 100 million years ago. It is warm, the land is covered by plants. Dinosaurs roam the earth. The plants are food for plant-eating dinosaurs like Brachiosaurus. And here we've got a label that's pointing to flowers. We've also got a label here pointing to trees. One to the river and one to the ferns. All of these are being pointed out, and the bushes, because they were important to the dinosaurs and they're relevant to what we're learning about. The plant-eating dinosaurs are food for hunters like Tyrannosaurus. Look at the Triceratops having a drink. Land animals live in places where they can find food and water. So the plant-eating dinosaurs are food for hunters like Tyrannosaurus. And what that means is if they are food for the hunters, it means that they're likely to get eaten by a dinosaur like the Tyrannosaurus. Near the river, again, lots of labels and captions here, speech bubble, and then a kind of fact file here. Bit like when we have top trumps, a little bit of extra information. A river is a good place to look for animals. The herd of dinosaurs feeding by this river are called Brachiosaurus. They are one of the largest creatures ever to walk the earth. Here we've got a label to the tail, strong legs, long neck, small head. And of course, they're adapted to their environment. These creatures want to eat up high like giraffes, and so they've got very, very tall necks. Brachiosaurus has a long neck that stretches about 13 meters. That's as long as 3 cars parked end to end. It helps them to reach the soft leaves at the very top of the trees. This footprint is big enough for me to sit in. Look at the size of it. A Brachiosaurus skeleton. How big? Let's take a look. Length 25 meters, height up to 16 meters, and of course 13 meters of that was neck. What does the name mean? Brachiosaurus means arm lizard. It was called this because its front legs were longer than its back legs. How do you say it? Brachiosaurus. And it's really useful when they have these in brackets to teach us the correct way to say them. Let's go to the next page. In the forest. Now do pause if you want to read this ahead of me. Many animals live in forests. They can hide among the trees and there is plenty of food. Here is a group of Triceratops feeding on leaves and twigs. So he's got long brow horns, very tall and pointy, and then a short nose horn. Strong legs, heavy body, bony head plate there. I bet that's extremely strong. If these charge, we'll have to get out of here. Many animals live in forests. They can hide among the trees and there is plenty of food. Here is a group of Triceratops feeding on leaves and twigs. Triceratops is a huge animal that looks a bit like a rhinoceros. It has 3 sharp horns on its head and a bony head plate. These help to protect it if it's attacked. Triceratops will also charge other animals. It can run quite fast. Let's have a look at his fact file or her fact file. Length 9 meters, height 3 meters, so much, much smaller than the Brachiosaurus. Triceratops means 3-horned face. How do you say it? Triceratops. Now, what we need to remember when we're looking at this non-fiction text is one of the things that we look for in non-fiction text is to see photographs. And there's a reason why there's no photographs in this book about dinosaurs and why you'll never see any photographs of real dinosaurs when they were living. And that's because cameras weren't invented at that time. Such a long, long, long time ago that there are no photographs. But you can sometimes see photographs of skeletons and bones, and there are some in this book. In the swamp. A muddy swamp is a good place for predators because they can see all around them. Here they can hide behind the trees and look for a tasty meal. Lots of labels here. Heavy tail, strong legs, huge feet, short arms, powerful jaw, sharp teeth, massive head. The Tyrannosaurus is a deadly predator. It has a massive head and its jaws are lined with sharp, jagged teeth. These animals are big and they can run fast. And here's a photograph, just as I was talking about them. This is a skeleton, a real skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus. And this was taken when it was all constructed back together again and placed in a museum. And if you ever go to the Natural History Museum in the future, or if you've been in the past, you will have seen some dinosaur skeletons. So the Tyrannosaurus was about 12 meters long, so still not as tall as the Brachiosaurus, not even as tall as his neck. Tyrannosaurus means tyrant lizard. A tyrant is someone who is powerful and cruel. Can you think why the Tyrannosaurus got its name? And then it says, how do you say it? Tyrannosaurus. There's lots of do you think he saw us jokes, dinosaur jokes that I've heard before. On the beach, on a sandy beach, there is a group of dinosaurs called Maiasaura. They come here every year because the sand is nice and soft. It is a good place for them to dig their nests. I wonder if any of you know any other creatures in modern days, so now, that come back to the beaches to lay their eggs. You'll have to have a think about that. So we've got eggs here and an egg thief and baby Malasaura. It says, let's keep back. They can be dangerous. A female lays between 20 and 30 eggs in her roomy nest. Maiasaura nest together so they can look out for predators and protect their young from harm. If we look at the fact file, Maiasaura means good mother lizard. The females were very protective over their young. Maiasaura, about 9 meters tall. In the sea. Many animals live in the sea. There is plenty of food in the water. Fierce prehistoric sharks feed on fish and seabirds. They are huge sea reptiles. They have flippers to help them swim as they hunt for fish. Reptiles cannot breathe underwater. They must swim to the surface to fill their lungs with air. Seaweed and other plants grow in the sea. There are small creatures called ammonites. They live inside a shell. And it says, get your diving gear on and come and take a closer look. And here we've got a seabird, shark, seaweed, sea reptiles, and ammonites here. In deep water. In the deepest part of the sea, there are mega monsters. This one is an Elasmosaurus. From tip to tail, it's about 15 meters long. Half of that is its neck, so similar to the Brachiosaurus in body shape. So it's 15 meters long, it says on the fact file. Elasmosaurus means thin-plated reptile. It was called this because some of its bones are like flat plates. Elasmosaurus. It is quite dark under the water, so fish cannot see its massive body. Long neck, small head, and jaws with sharp teeth. There are over 70 bones in this long neck. We have 7 in ours. All the fish can see its tiny head, and so they do not try to escape. The Elasmosaurus gets closer and closer to them, and then snap, it grabs it with their jaws. In the air, flying is a great help to animals. They can escape from predators. They can also find food and safe places to rest. So here we can see on these labels huge wings covered with skin, so not feathers on this one. There are huge flying reptiles called pteranodons. Their wings are covered with skin. Here's a flying insect. Which animals today have wings made of skin? And then we've got an answer here, bats. There are moths, honeybees, and other insects. There are some birds, their wings are covered with feathers. On the cliffs, pteranodons leap off the cliffs and dive into the sea. They are hunting for food. They are bigger than any flying creature on Earth today. A pteranodon's bones are hollow and as thin as eggshells. This makes the animal very light. If it stands on the cliff top and spreads its wings, the wind lifts it up into the air. Long beak with no teeth. And here's the crest on top of its head and its furry body. It's bigger than a hang glider. I think I need a lesson on how to say this. How big? So 7 meters. What does the name mean? It means winged and toothless. And how do you say it? Pteranodon. Pteranodon. There we go. I needed that lesson. Who lived where? Now your safari is over. Can you remember where these animals lived? Was it on land, in the sea, or in the air? So have a go at those. See if you can remember where they were, and then go back into the book and check. And here is a scale picture that shows the different sizes of the dinosaurs with the same character next to them, so you get an idea of how big they are. And then at the back here, we've got the glossary that's explaining some of those words that we looked at. Prehistoric, belonging to a time very long ago. Reptile, an animal with cold blood. Snakes, crocodiles, and tortoises are all reptiles. Swamp, an area of very wet ground. Habitat, something we're very familiar with, where it lives. And then here, the index. So if we're looking for particular things that we want to learn about, these are the pages they feature on. Well, there are 2 activities that you can do connected to that book if you go back to the Oxford Owls website, and do go back and have a look at that book and read through it yourself so that you become really familiar with it. Tomorrow we will go through the activities and talk about what we have read. I hope you've enjoyed the story today, and do go back and read it.